Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Ascension, the Rise of a God. My name is Michael Wooson. I'm the sole developer and creator of the upcoming ASCII graphics-based roguelike Ascension, the Rise of a God. Now, there has been months since I last posted a video of the game, and I'm gonna try to showcase a lot of the things that changed. I'm not gonna have time to cover everything, so I'm gonna try to be concise, and the rest of it I'm gonna expand in the game manual, or I'm gonna expand it on a separate website, because there is a lot of things that have changed. A little bit of curious information for those of you who wonder and are familiar with programming. The Python code was approximately 3 to 4,000 lines previously, and currently it's approximately 7 to 8,000, I think. Approximately, and I've learned a shit ton a lot during all this. I have learned such a huge amount of things. Anyway, there has been many changes. So let's jump into this. I'm going to pick a warrior. I'm going to be a male, and there are different races and sub-races. I do not have time to go into all the specific traits of all the different things, but this is kind of a quick breakdown of how it works. Races defines stats. So for instance, humans are very average, orcs are stronger but less intelligent, yada yada. Now, sub-races have traits. Traits are differing abilities or differing settings, let's put it like that. And each race, or each sub-race, I do not know yet, I know only that one sub-race has completed it, has a starting zone, a starting place where they get tied into the main story, where they get their backstory, where they get kind of their context put in things and how they relate into the main story and how everything plays together. So let's jump into it. Now we can write our names here. Now I could write pretty much what I want. I could write, you know, uh, assuming at least as long as it's ASCII letters and bindings or whatever. But and I could write my name as far as 32. So I could that's about how long of a name you can have. Anyway, I'm just gonna, for demonstration's sake, I'm just gonna call myself Mike, and we're just gonna jump right into it. Welcome to Ascension. Now, there's a number of things I want to show you guys. So first off, let's just get a couple of things straight. This is the hunger meter. It is not completely implemented yet. It is just a number. It has not been completely implemented, but there are going to be corpse effects. There is going to be a hunger system. There is going to be a lot of eating and whatever not related. This is the time. Time in the game matters because it matters so that during certain periods of the day, certain events can happen, certain rare spawns can happen, certain creatures only come from at night, or certain events only happen at given times of the day. This is the area you are in. And this is a little bit of an interesting thing. It says one stun, and this is your ability, your one ability button. Now you have up to, I think I've decided on 5 total, and in total there are 5 abilities that I've chosen that you will be able to get. Now for the warrior, this is so that you'll always have stun, but depending on what weapon you want to use, depending on what weapon you're currently equipped with, you're going to be able to do different abilities. You're going to be able to do different things. So for instance, I can always do stun, but let's say I want to equip a steel axe. Then I can do slash. Slash is a quick attack that attacks a random enemy that is adjacent to me and does a small amount of damage, but it does not allow them to retaliate. So this is a kind of a quick attack thing that you can do. Now you can also dual wield, and dual wielding affects abilities. Now, how it works is that you have your number 1, which is kind of your utility skill. You have number 2, which is generally the offensive skill. Then you have number 3, which is the defensive skill. And I'll showcase this just in a second. And I just want to showcase one thing before we see that. I just want to showcase that you can actually switch which hand you hold things in. So, for instance, I have a heater shield. So if I press C, I switch the hand I hold the heater shield in. So for instance, it goes from left-handed to right-handed. So I can dual wield stuff. I can dual wield shields, I can dual wield axes, I can dual wield almost anything I see fit, except for two-handers. So anyway, we're going to equip the shield, and you're going to see that I get a 3 ability. I get the 3 ability block. Now, how does block work? What does block do? Now, it's not very informative currently because it does not say what the stamina cost is, what the abilities does, or whatever. Now, this will be expanded upon. This is not the final format. This is still very early development of the cycle of the game, but it is a lot of content that is currently missing. Not a lot of the systems are missing because a lot of things have already been implemented. And there's other things that I want to show as well in just a second. In just a second, guys. So let's first show off how block works. So if I press block, this is what happens. You get attacks for 60 of your stamina, and you get +2 armor for a certain duration. I am going to implement so that you get a small duration that is shown, that will be in a parentheses. That is kind of a buff duration of certain abilities, and you're going to see that in the future. You're not going to see that currently. I have not implemented that yet, and I have not had time to do that yet. So what happens if I de-equip the shield? If I de-equip the shield, I go to 0 stamina, because when you de-equip items, you're going to be drained of stamina. The reason for this is because that this is to prevent scamming of the gear. Like when you have luck, luck is something that can affect drops. This is essentially kind of related to like magic find or whatever not. But the kind of thing that is the main principle of magic find is also that it kind of reduces armor, it reduces stats, or on the taxation of getting higher magic find or higher item find. And the thing with this is that when you do this, you are taxed in such a way so that if you switch gear in combat, you actually restarted. Like your resources put to 0, regardless if you equip it or de-equip it. I'm going to fix that. And it's going to be so that the enemy gets to have several free turns if you equip something in combat. This is just to prevent save scumming, or not save scumming, but like to prevent gear scumming. Like you cannot instantly equip magic find gear just before something dies. You just get more gear for killing it. You have to actually have to have it equipped to actually kill to actually gain the bonus of that item. Like you can't just instantly switch to it in the moment of an eye. You know, you have to plan stuff out. So anyway, you've seen that now that I have only one axe on me. You can see that I have no ability here. And you don't see any damage either. You don't see any damage. You don't see how much damage these things do. But fool, I tell you, you know not. If I equip my shield again and I press the X button, we're going to get the scalings menu. This is the scaling menu that tells you of the different stats of the weapons that you currently have equipped. Now it says steel axe and heater shield. Now this is the base damage for the steel axe. This is the base scaling. This is how much damage it gets from strength. This is from agility. And this is for the shield. Now these numbers are placeholders. The game is far from balanced yet. Numbers are only placeholders in this current iteration. It does not reflect the final product, and it does not reflect what you're gonna get in the future. But the system is going to be the same. The idea is that the presentation of the information is going to be same on this part. Like the scalings is something that is going to happen, and it is something that happens to every weapon as well. Like they have different scalings for attributes. For instance, some weapons hits very hard, but they don't scale at all with stats. That's kind of their idea there, that they are kind of like they're good for characters that don't have a lot of stats. And what I want to do is so that certain characters or certain builds of characters can go for a lot of stats, and they can scale better in the late game. They can scale stronger later on, or you can build your character so that you don't rely on stats. You rely more on abilities, or whatever, that don't have especially stats. Not all abilities require stats. Different abilities scale differently well with stats. So what you're going to see is that certain weapons will be very beneficial for builds that just want to build on not having stats. Not having stats so that you can just hit very hard but not be able to scale as good or have as high as of a potential as someone who has stats. So anyway, we're going to de-equip the shield, and you're going to see what happens when I equip another axe. What happens then with my slash ability, because something does happen. We get whirlwind. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. When you do a wield, you get another ability. You forsake your defensive ability because you're now dual wielding. You go full on the offense, but you now have whirlwind. What does whirlwind do? Let's see this. So if I press the 5 button, you'll see that each time I move, I get 5 stamina. But if I press the 5 button, I regenerate 20 stamina instead. I could do this in combat instead. But if I like choose to regenerate stamina, I actually forfeit my turn. Like I take my turn to breathe, to stand, and to like to catch my breath essentially. And you'll see that if I press it when I'm 100, it's going to say you're already at full stamina. Now, if I press whirlwind, and I press the 2 button, it says the whirlwind hits everything within 2 tiles. And since nothing is standing 2 tiles within my range, then nothing gets hit. And I can attack the old orc, and I'm gonna attack the old orc, which is the NPC here. But first, I want to talk to him and show you guys a little bit about the event system and the trait system. Now, we're going to talk to him, and this is how conversations work. You talk to someone, and keep in mind the text that you see here is placeholder. Most of it is placeholder. Not all of it is correct. Not all of it is final product. It is subject to change. This is very early development. But this is kind of how you can come to expect things to be. That you speak to someone, they give you kind of context, or they give you hints, or whatever, and you talk to them. Now, if we extinguish all of his conversation options, which in this case is 2, we get a final event, which is called the final gift. Now he says, before you go, stranger, take this. The old hawk hands you a small carved trinket, and he gives us a trinket, essentially, that gives us 1 more defense. Now, what happened is that this orc began to trust us because we talked to him, and he gave us an item. Now the thing is, since you have essentially a state where he considers to be friendly towards you. Now, we could kill him, but the effect of killing him would enrage him and it would give us a trait if we managed to kill him. So we're actually going to try to do that. We're going to try to kill the old orc. So I'm just going to stun him first, and I'm going to try to bash him in. So he doesn't have a lot of HP. He's not very tough because he's an old orc, so he's relatively easy to kill. And keep in mind, numbers are not balanced. This is not This is not reflection of the final product you're going to get in sense of numbers. This is some abilities are very overpowered. Yada yada. Disclosure. So anyway, this is also not complete, because there's a line that is out of place, but otherwise this is true, that you can gain traits. So, for instance, when we kill this guy after we gained his trust, we gain a trait that's called Betrayer. Now, Betrayer does is that you do additional damage against targets that are friendly against you. And the more friendly someone is considered towards you, like the longer you've quested for them or the more you gain their trust, the more damage you do against them. So, essentially, if you've quested for someone for very long, like they've been along you for a long time or whatever not, and you decide to kill them, you're going to do a lot more damage against them if you have the Betrayer trait. Now, there are mutual sources for some traits. Like some traits are very explicit, very unique, very very hard to get, but very strong. Whereas of others are simply very situational use, but have several different sources that you can get them from. So, for instance, Betrayer is probably going to be a thing that you can get by killing any NPC that is considered friendly against you. Like that's how you get. That's probably how you're going to get the Betrayer trait. But anyway, so the orc dies. Now, I want to show you guys a little bit of a different thing as well. I want to show you the first quest of the game that has been implemented. If I press Q, I'm going to get a message that says you currently don't have any quests because my quest journal is empty. But I'm going to go up to this door here. We're going to get a placeholder text. Essentially, this is not the final text. This is a placeholder, and it shows us a little bit of an introduction to the quest that we're going to get here. Now, there's someone stuck in the cell, and we want to free them. We're given the quest. So, if I press Q now, you're going to see that quest. Press associated quest key for information. So how quests are structured in Ascension is that you're going to have that there's an associated key with each quest. Now this is the name of the quest, A Voice Speaks, and this is the main objective of the quest, to find the strange key to open the door, because without it we can't open the door. And the secondary objective is to kill Captain Dormer. Now, if I press the A key, I'm actually going to get additional information. And the idea here is that you're going to get kind of the perspective of the character, like, oh, this person talked to me and they said this, and I believe that, blah, 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 blah. You know, that you get kind of more additional context about it. But this is like a brief overview of, like, what is your current quest? What are you doing? What are you trying to do? What do you want to do? And beyond this, I also want to put emphasis on that you have main objective and you have something that will be story objective. The difference between a main objective and a story objective is that a main objective is simply something that is a side quest. So that story objectives is something that leads to the main story or has something to do with the main story. Whereas if there are side quests, essentially quests that have nothing to do with the main story, that are just like random dungeons or people that you happen to trade upon or whatever, that are related to side quests, and then you will get this. You will get main objective and secondary. But otherwise you will get story objective or secondary story objective. So anyway, we're going to show a little bit of how it works. And now there's placeholder, there's a joke placeholder here in text. Like if I press A, it says holla holla get dollar. And it's just a joke placeholder text. Don't mind it, guys. It's not the final product. So we're going to go in here. We're going to pay a visit. We're going to pay a visit to uh, Captain Dolma and his men. So we storm in through the door, we break the door. Now breaking doors is just by walking into them. Like you can just break doors by just walking into them. Now the guards hit us and we don't have a shield, so we take a little bit more of the damage. So I want to strike them back. So I do a whirlwind to their face. We do 9 damage and they have 10 HP. Sorry. Terrible hiccups and stuff. Anyway, I whirlwind them all down. I AoE them all down. You can see they all die. So, and this is barrels. We can do the same for those. Pow, and all the barrels die. Easy. Death for all of the barrels. Anyway, we're going to try to kill Captain Dolma here. I'm just going to regenerate. You have actually regeneration that works with turns so that you generate naturally. You have a natural regen. Some people have higher regen, some others have lower regen, and there are ways to modify this. Anyway, we're going to go in here. This is placeholder text. Don't mind that. We'll see that the captain is here. But the thing is, we don't want to kill him right yet. We don't want to kill him just yet because, and there's an vendor in there. I'll show you how that works in just a moment. Now, the first thing I want to show you is what happens if we kill Captain Dolma right now. What happens if we kill him right now? What happens is that we have not picked up one of the necessary components for the quest. We would get our secondary objective complete, but as it currently stands in the current implementation, which is kind of a bug, or not a bug so much, it's just structured like this, is that we have to have the key in our inventory to actually be able to get credit for the secondary objective. So, where is the key, you might ask me? Like, didn't the person say that the Dolma has the key? Now, he did say that, but Dolma actually doesn't have the key. Because in Ascension, some quests actually support exploring. Like you need to explore and try to investigate your area, talk to people, try to find things and try to do different things, because some things are event driven, some things are not quest driven. They are just events that can happen at certain dates, at certain times, or certain things, or if you read certain things you can have certain events trigger, and these are not obvious. These are kind of like how the world reacts to you and stuff like that. That is not part of the quest. Quest is explicitly stated, but quests do not always explicitly state where you have to go, what you have to do. Like they'll give you a general area, but they won't say, oh, it's over at those coordinates or whatever. So I'm going to show you something here that's called a secret wall. Now, in Ascension, there are a couple of secret walls that you can actually walk through walls. You can actually find secrets that are tucked away. That's just one of the secrets that exist in the starting area. And in general, you're going to see that in the areas that are boss areas or pre-rendered levels, you're going to see that there are secrets. There are hidden secrets. There are hidden general things or hints or whatever, or lore or whatever that you can find in hidden places. Now, some places are easier to get to than others, and sometimes when you pick up certain items, there might spawn monsters or whatever not. You know, you don't know. These are events that can occur. Now, I'm not going to show you the rest of the secrets that exist. There are a number of different secrets here as well, but I'm not going to show you those currently. I just want to show you guys a general structure of things, general expectations, what you can come to expect of the game. So we break the door, Dalmo comes out, we stun him, we're just going to try to kill him and hope that he dies. Yes, he does. Easy. So you're going to see that as soon as I have the key in my inventory, we're going to get a green message that says secondary objective complete. Now, if I bring up the quest journal again, you're going to see that secondary objective has disappeared because I completed it. So this is what remains on the quest, the main objective, to find the strange key. And I do have the strange key, so I have to bring the strange key and open the door. Now, I have to get through here and up here again, and we can open the door. And this is a placeholder, don't mind that, and we get 500 experience for completing the quest. And it says here, quest complete, you gain 500 experience. Now, the general idea is that when you complete something with secondary objectives, you get bonuses. You get more experience, or you get more items, or specific items, or you get items that you wouldn't get otherwise, or whatever. You know, you get additional rewards for doing secondary objectives. And this is just to put emphasis to that it is a cool thing to do questing. You know, sometimes it will also be so that some quests can be very hard. The secondary objective can be very hard. The main objective might be very easy, but the secondary objective can be very hard. And if you complete it, it is optional. But if you complete it, you get more experience, or you get some bonus to it. Anyway, so we're just going to go in and we're just going to showcase the last thing I want to show you guys before I close out this video. I just want to show you the brief thing here, which is the vendors. Now, this is not a final iteration of the vendors, and I will have to go and pick up some gold before I actually go to the vendor, because otherwise I won't afford anything. So I'll pick up gold, and you'll see that gold actually just gets added to this. It doesn't get added to my inventory or anything. Like, it doesn't have a weight, it doesn't get added to inventory, and generally gold is just a currency that you carry. It's not something that you have in your inventory. So we're going to talk to this guy, and we're gonna buy something. We're gonna buy a pair of crusty pants. Now you're gonna see that added crusty pants plus 1 defense to your inventory. So this is kind of the thing that you can come to expect of the game. This is kind of the gist that you can come to expect of the game. Shopkeepers will probably be a little bit different. I'm probably going to tweak the system a little bit, but generally this is the structure that you're going to see, with events, with quests, with hidden secrets, with different interactions in the game and in the world of how things happen. So guys, this has been a brief look, because there's a lot more that I have not covered. I have not covered different traits of races and whatever not. So this has been a look at Ascension, The Rise of a God, the upcoming ASCII roguelike being developed by Michael Roos and me, the sole creator of Ascension, The Rise of a God. And I thank you very much, guys, for joining me today, and I hope to see you guys in the future. Thank you very much, and I hope you have a very nice day.